Hello and welcome into the second episode of Two Bros in a Pod. Wyatt, how you doing?
Doing good. We're back.
Yeah,
We're back.
definitely. Got one in the books. I'm kind of surprised at the reaction, the support we got afterwards. We got a few more views, more listens than I thought we were going to get.
Yes, thank you guys so much. We appreciate all of the support, all the fans, and all the mountain faces out there. We're just so excited. We're so excited to do this.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody listens to it, but thank you.
No. We can't say that. We can't say that. We want more.
Yeah.
Come on.
You're right. Very grateful for everybody who listened. Best way to help us out is keep listening. Follow us on all the different spots you can get podcasts: YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google. Comment, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. But
yeah,
today's going to be a fun one. Just kind of like the last episode, same kind of format. Talk a little bit about life, talk a little bit about sports, and then the main course is Spider-Verse. So we're going to be talking about all the Spider-Man movies and the newest movie, Across the Spider-Verse. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a doozy.
Yep.
I think Wyatt and I are going to have some differing opinions, to say the least.
We might. Well, all around with our Spider-Man backgrounds, we're I feel like we're a little different. So
yeah,
it'll
definitely.
be good. It'll be good.
But yeah, what's up with you? Anything new in the last few days?
I know I feel like we podcasted like yesterday, but it's been a couple days now. But
I know. So for everybody, we're podcasting on Tuesday, June 27th. So you're not going to hear this till next Monday, whatever that date is. That's going to be the 3rd. But yeah.
Yeah, Brennan changed around the schedule.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully for me to be able to head to Dallas this weekend. We normally do this on Friday, but I will be heading to Dallas on Friday and being able to see some family, Uncle Scott and Aunt Patty. So I'm always excited to see them and see some old friends, old college roomie. So I think most of my stuff up to date wise is more getting ready for trips and with Dallas this next weekend, and then the weekend after I'll be heading home. I think we got the camping trip, so that'll be exciting.
Oh yeah, first time we've seen each other in person in a while, probably since I don't know, what was it, last summer?
No, it had to have been Christmas, right?
Yeah, probably. But yeah, it's maybe a couple times a year if we're lucky.
Yeah, not much, but we get there.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Well, I mean, talking about the old little slide in there last week of the fiance, I feel like we got to talk a little bit more about the in-depths of the engagement and how you and Julia are now finally engaged.
Oh yes. So I upgraded her
For the fans.
Upgraded her ring pop into a real diamond.
So I know like Julia on her page posted all of the engagement, and it was really cool how you had like the Brennan takeover cam and kind of going like the behind the scenes of how she doesn't know yet and getting to that moment. And it was really cool how Julia did that video on her page. And so for those of you guys that haven't seen that, you guys got to check that out. And
yeah, follow her on YouTube. Her channel, it's at Julia Hartlaub. She's doing a bunch of different videos, all things Disney, books, and just regular days in the life. And she did a whole vlog about the week that we went home and I proposed, and it's an amazing video, so definitely go check that out. But yeah, so I had it. For those of you that don't know, Julia and I have been dating for a little over 5 years now, but I knew from the beginning that I wanted to propose to her eventually. I just wanted to wait for the right time. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, a lot of dudes who can relate. Girls want a lot when you're proposing, and you kind of want it to be perfect. Um, they want everything to be perfect, and then even more so, I wanted everything to be perfect for her. So I worked a long time with her mom and sister to plan this trip back home.
How long was a long time? Like a
Um,
few months or?
Overall, like the actual plan was a few months, but I had asked for their blessing even longer ago, so it's been more than half a year for sure in the making. Um, but yeah, we figured everything out. We planned a trip to go home for Mother's Day. Julia thought she was going home to see family, hang out with her mom, and they set up this whole day where she's supposed to get her nails done with her mom and sister. They're just hanging out, watching movies. They love watching Hallmark movies. And then they went down to visit her dad's bench. So for those of you that don't know, her dad passed away a few years ago. And they have a bench on this bike trail by their house, and they have a plaque there. It's dedicated to her dad. Just like the perfect spot. And I worked with her mom and sister to plan for them to go down to the bench, and I would meet them there and pop the question. And it was perfect. It went perfectly. Couldn't have had it any other way. It was even raining, but from what I hear, that's supposed to be good luck.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
That's supposed to be a good thing.
yeah. But yeah, it all played out perfectly. Um, Definitely go check out her YouTube channel, watch that video, subscribe. She's got some great stuff out there.
Were you nervous at all planning this, or when it became the day to propose? Were you did your heart start racing, and or were you a cool cat?
Yeah, everybody was asking me if I was nervous. I was not nervous at all because I knew right away, and I've known for a long time that she was the one. So I wasn't nervous about that at all. The one thing I was nervous about was keeping that secret from her for this, however long it took to plan this. Like everybody knew it was happening, and I had to make sure nobody let it slip. So that was
Oh
definitely
yeah.
the scariest part. That's the only thing that made me nervous.
So I knew through Corey, but kind of whenever she found out, which was a little earlier, but um, like when did you start telling people and all that stuff in the family that this was going to be happening?
Yeah. So my family, like I said, everybody kind of knew for the last year that I really
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do this soon. And then it was just a matter of finding out a way to get back to Wisconsin because that's where I wanted the proposal to happen. Um, and then my family, they knew like when it was going to happen for about 2 months, I think. So I had to make sure nobody brought it up. And then we finally went home, and it was on the second day of our trip home. So that first day, I was a little nervous. We're hanging out with everybody. I'm just like praying nobody lets it slip that this is about
Yeah.
to happen. But worked out perfectly. Shout out to everyone for keeping a secret. Shout out to Julia's sister, Sarah, for recording it all. She was the real MVP. But yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was, and it was so funny, like especially in Julia's video where, like, you have the big arrows of you could see the the ring in your
Yeah.
pocket. It's
Yeah,
like
dude.
she
So
she didn't notice at all, and it was like it's just this big thing in your pocket.
yeah, this huge ring sticking out of my back pocket. I had nowhere else to put it. And
Yeah,
the ring case was just huge, but I didn't want to take it out just in case it fell out of my pocket or something. So yeah, thankfully she didn't see anything. Um, but yeah, I was a little nervous about that.
no, it was such a cool moment. Yeah, shout out to Sarah because that was really cool to be able to see that
Yeah,
and
yeah,
get that posted for everyone. So yeah, no, that was really cool.
yeah. That was the only downside. You weren't able to be there, but
Hmm.
pretty much everybody else was that was in town was able to make it. Yeah, that's the only thing that wish could have been different, is to have literally everybody there, but it's really hard to do that, get that all figured
Yeah.
out with everyone. But for the most part, went pretty well.
Pretty well. Pretty perfectly well.
Pretty well, yeah. It did go pretty perfectly. You're right. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
pretty
awesome. I'm
much.
so happy for you guys. That's so cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's pretty much all that's happened in my life recently. That obviously the biggest thing. Other than that,
Yep.
just kind of hanging out. Started
Do
this
we
little
know the
podcast thing.
Yep. Yep. Do you know the details moving forward of anything, or we're
Oh my
still
god.
just riding the
Mm.
wave?
Yeah, riding the wave. We'll see
Yeah.
how long that takes. Haven't even thought about it. I know Julia has. I let her do most of the
Yeah.
planning, so we'll see. We're not even sure if it's going to be in Florida or in Wisconsin, so we're at the
Okay.
very beginning stages of that.
Yeah, for sure. It's all new. All the
Yeah,
new stuff.
definitely. But yeah, so that's our life update. Bang. Knocked that one out of the park.
Bang. Exactly.
But yeah, you texted me the other day, asked me if I was watching any of the College World Series, and of course I was not. Were you checking that out?
Yes. Of course, absolutely. I mean, you know, we had to do, the basketball first. So now we're doing some baseball,
Yep.
and College World Series just happened. It just finished last night. And I don't know if you watched any of the championship series with LSU in Florida.
Nope. But I saw the scores. I saw some pretty lopsided
Oh,
scores.
yeah, yeah, it was insane. I mean, the first game went into extras. LSU ended up pulling it out. I think it was like 4-3, but it was a really good game. And then Florida game two just came out and just smacked it. I mean, they were just on it the whole time. And I think that is what kind of helped LSU almost for game three, is because I mean they were getting beat pretty quick, and they just didn't use all of their pitching like
Yeah.
Florida did. And um so yeah, LSU came out that third game and just smacked it the same as Florida did the night before. It was crazy. So yeah, the second game was like 24-4.
Yeah, I
Florida
saw
won.
that.
And then last night's game was, I think LSU won, was it 18-5 or something like that? I mean, it was crazy, crazy.
Wild. And then I also saw, like, almost the same night Florida put up 20 something. The Angels put up like 24 or 25 or whatever it
Yep,
was.
they put up 25 in the first 4 innings.
That's insane.
Yeah,
How does that even happen?
I don't know. I mean, it was in Colorado too, so elevation, the over there is a little different, but
Yeah, the ball
still, I mean that.
flies there.
No, it does. But
Yeah,
I mean, even still, that's 25 runs in 4 innings. That's insane.
yeah,
Insane.
it is. So yeah, I didn't watch much of it, but that's just kind of how I am with baseball. Just I don't know what it is, man. I when I was growing up, I was a huge fan. I watched the Brewers all the time, but I think that was also just because I had less going on, so I could just turn on the game at night, tune in. Um, but yeah, over the years, I just almost completely lost interest in baseball. I know it's a little different for you though. You were always super
Mhm.
passionate about it. So how do you feel now?
Yeah, I think watching baseball now is a little different for me, I guess. Playing it in college and um, all of that, I feel like I have a different perspective, I guess, of baseball. And I don't watch it a lot now like I did before, like when we were growing up, but I still, uh, come in and chime in from time to time and watch a game. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a consistent fan watching it every night like some of those Boston Red Sox and New York Yankee fans out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, College World Series, when that comes around, that's a big thing for me to watch. And I felt like overall this College World Series was really cool. I was really pulling for Oral Roberts, but unfortunately they didn't make it. But now they were a pretty funny team. They had a good amount of seniors this year, and I don't know if you saw, but anytime one of their players got on base, their first base coach would give them gummy worms to eat.
Oh, I did see that on Twitter.
That was pretty. I was like, at first, I thought it was a little goofy, but I'm like, okay, I'll ride the wave. I'll ride the wave. But
yeah. Well, you know what? That's exactly the point here. Baseball's so boring that the first base coach has to give out gummy worms just to make it interesting.
No.
Oh,
nope.
man.
I don't get bored at a baseball game. Nope.
Oh, nope. Yeah. Well, I'm sure a lot of our friends from growing up, if any coaches are listening to this, they're going to hate me. They're going But yeah, I just completely lost interest in baseball. It's just, I can't sit through a whole game, number one. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. And like you nowadays with Twitter, you get all the good parts just posted on Twitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see how that would be different. Like I would never say that about basketball, whereas you maybe could. I'm just not as passionate about baseball. But yeah, but one thing that was interesting, I was listening to this podcast. I think it was during winter, so baseball wasn't happening. But it was Theo Epstein, and he's not a general manager anymore, I don't believe. I think he's like working for the league, right?
Yeah. He's in the league office.
Yeah. So he was talking about exactly what I'm saying, basically, like how popularity has decreased over the years, and there's a lot of things that they wanted to change just to try and get viewership up again, increase the popularity of the sport. And he talked about all the rule changes that they ended up implementing, like the pitch clock. They reduced the shifts, right? You're not allowed to shift anymore.
No shifts. Shifts.
Yep. Added the DH to the NL. Like a lot of these rules to try and improve the game for exactly the reason that I said. Like a lot of younger people just aren't as interested anymore. And so they wanted to implement all these rules to try and get that popularity back up. And I don't know. I was wondering if it was going to change anything for me. I was like, oh, maybe the games will go a little quicker. Maybe I'll tune in a little more. I have not tuned into a single baseball game. But
yeah,
for you, has it changed your experience at all?
Honestly, it just kind of, I wouldn't say it makes it more annoying to watch, but like I get the shift, especially for me being a former hitter and having to deal with shifts all the time. I'm glad that that's out of there, because I mean, it'll raise the batting average for everyone substantially.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. The pitch clock though is very frustrating. And I get why they're doing it, but the way that it's timed out, and even on opening day, seeing Devers from Boston, he struck out because he didn't get set, and it didn't make any sense. And I know that they're going to try it out and they're going to touch some things up eventually, but I don't get the pitch clock, and especially I don't remember what the stat was like the first month into this MLB season, but I feel like it was only like a 10 or 15 minute difference in games with the pitch clock, and it's just like, you might as well, it's already 3 hours long anyways, you might as well just stay.
But that's the thing, it actually did change quite a bit. So from 2 years ago, 2021, it was the longest game time in MLB history. The average game took 3 hours and 11 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then this year, after they implemented these rules, the last article I could find was May 5th, so a month and a half ago. So that's pretty much the beginning of the season. So it's a smaller sample size, but the average time of a game was 2 hours, 38 minutes. So they took off more than a half an hour of the game. And that is a big difference for a viewer, because anything over 3 hours, especially when there's not a lot of action happening, is just too long. Even football can be that way. There's a lot of breaks. Like none of these sports should be going 3 hours, but the divide is, for a player, these rules are weird. Like I remember growing up as a hitter, I would not want to just have to stand in the batter's box. All of us, every pitch, we'd step out, do a practice swing, step back in. So that would be huge. That would be like a huge difference. It'd take a while to get used to staying in the batter's box, not really having that time to adjust, but totally get it as a fan of the game. As a viewer of the game, they had to do it, because I could not stand watching a pitcher throw over to first base 100 times, or a batter step out and readjust his batting gloves and grab his crotch a little bit and step back in, then call time. Like, for the casual viewer, baseball was just a terrible product. So I totally get what you're saying. As a player, that makes total sense. But as a viewer, I think these rules were a good decision. But we'll see how it plays out, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
I know I know you're a little hesitant, but you played a lot more than I did, so it's different.
No, for sure. I think the most exciting rule that I was excited about was them changing the bases and making those bigger for safety reasons. I thought that was huge.
Long overdue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Problem,
just not a fan.
Listening to Epstein, I should go find that podcast and send it to you. But listening to him, it just made things make so much more sense. Like all the things that they're trying to do is trying to enhance the product, and they're trying to get the players to hit the ball more. They want the ball in play more. They don't want strikeouts. They don't want, like, I was looking at batting averages. The Brewers had like one guy over 300, and it was because he's barely played any games. But they just, Theo Epstein, he was saying, he's just like, we really want to get the ball in play more, have less strikeouts, less time wasted on pickoff attempts or shifts or mound visits, all the pitching changes. So I get what they're doing. It might take a while to work out the kinks, though, for sure.
Yeah, no. And I mean, like, I just feel like, yes, the pitch clock has helped for sure. I just feel like at the same time, but right before it was starting to happen, I feel like a lot of pitchers have shortened up their time and their seconds per pitch before. Like, I don't think anyone was taking advantage of it like Josh Beckett did way back when he was taking almost 2 minutes per pitch to throw a ball.
Yeah,
I feel like it hasn't been in the set of the pitch clock where you only have 20 to 30 seconds to throw a pitch. But I don't know.
Did you see that video? It was all over the internet. It had two videos side by side. I can't remember the pitchers though. It was one pitcher during the playoffs, I believe, like a year or two ago. And in the time that he threw one pitch, the video next to it completed a whole inning. It was insane.
Yeah.
Like live time. And it's because he threw a pitch, and then there was a bunch of crap going on in the middle. Like there was a mound visit. They had, I think there were some pickoff attempts, batter calling time, pitcher stepping off, like all this stuff. And the pitcher on the right pitched a whole inning in the time that the other guy pitched one pitch. It was crazy.
That is pretty crazy. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat as me too. And it's leading to people not even recognizing that we might have the greatest baseball player of all time playing right now, Shohei Ohtani. Like,
Oh yeah.
this dude is incredible, and you don't even really hear about him.
Well, I mean, I hear about him all the time, but I also have the notifications going and all that.
Yeah,
he's phenomenal. I mean, I'm really nervous to see how this offseason goes because he'll be a free agent after this year. I really hope he doesn't go to the Dodgers, but I think that's the front runner. I just can't see him without Trout. And I mean, they've been really close with each other even since he came in. And it was really cool seeing, like, I don't know if you watched any of the World Baseball Classic before the MLB season started, but they ended up facing off against each other in the championship game, the last out.
Yeah.
And Ohtani was just humming. He did 100, 101. And
yeah.
Trout was trying. Trout was trying to hit it out.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Shohei Ohtani, he is a pitcher and a hitter. Most pitchers in the NBA or in the NBA, the MLB, they're not hitters. Ohtani's playing every day. And not only is he playing every day, he is dominating. So some stats for you. Right now, it's June 27th. He is the leader in home runs with 26, the leader in RBIs, 62, and he's 10th in batting average at 297, 7th in hits. And then on top of that, so he's just like the best hitter in the league. On top of that, as a pitcher, he's 6-3. He's got a 3.13 ERA, and he's 4th in strikeouts. This dude is incredible.
Oh, he's no joke. I mean, to talk about like a player that you have to, like, even if you're not a fan of baseball, like, just to buy a ticket to watch a guy play, like, there isn't very many people out there to do that with. But Shohei Ohtani is definitely one of those guys where it's like, if he's in your town, you got to watch him just to say that you've seen him in person. I mean, it's insane. I mean, and the dude's 6'6". I mean, he's huge. He's built like a brick house. I mean, and the dude is, I mean, he's fast on the bases. Fast. It's insane. I mean, he's just all around.
I think he has 10 stolen bases too, which is no joke, like, at this point in the season. But he's already won one MVP, 2021. He's among the leaders right now. We'll see how the rest of the season goes, but he could very well win again this year. And if he keeps up what he's doing pitching-wise, he'll be in the Cy Young conversation too. Like, that would be just completely insane to win MVP and Cy Young in the same season. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even want to know how much money he's going to be getting this.
it's gonna be ridiculous.
Because Trout signed his contract way back when for over 400. I think it was like 460 mil for 13 or 14 years. Like, I don't even know what Ohtani's going to get. And I know, like, the Dodgers are the front runner. I know, like, I've heard the Cubs too. I don't think Chicago is going to end up with them. I think that's a long shot that he goes to Chicago, but
they don't deserve him.
I don't. I mean, I don't see it there, and I really hope. I mean, I hope the Angels pick it up and play really well this year, so they don't lose them. But
yeah, that's the thing, man. The Angels have, like, we didn't even mention Mike. Well, we mentioned Mike Trout. Like, he was the face of the MLB, and then Ohtani comes in, and they're on the same
Mm-hmm.
team, the two best players in the league. And yet the Angels haven't been able to figure it out, haven't been able to get to the playoffs. Like,
Yeah.
I really hope this year they do make it and make a run, because I would love Shohei and Trout to stay there. I hate when they leave for bigger markets. Like, if he ends up on the Dodgers, it's just another reason for me to never watch baseball. Like, I love the dude, but don't go to another big market team. But yeah, so that's why I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for the Angels. Hopefully he can stay there.
The Angels should be. They should be up there. Like, they are a big market. They're in Anaheim. You know.
Yeah.
I big market for them. I hope. I'm hoping that they do well.
Yeah, they're just stuck in the shadow of the Dodgers, but I definitely hope they can make a run this year.
But yeah, no, like you said, I mean, Trout has been the face of the MLB, and Shohei Ohtani's been the face of the world. And I mean, they're 1 and 2 in the major leagues. They're the two best players in the league, and the Angels still can't get to the playoffs. I think Trout has only been to the playoffs one time and played 3 games, and they lost. They got swept. Yeah, that's the only time he's been. So I really hope they do well.
And like growing up, I remember you especially were like all in on Mike Trout, and here we are 10 years later or whatever it's been, and he's still only been in 3 playoff games. Like, that sucks. But
yeah, I was glued to the TV when Mike Trout and Bryce Harper played in their first All-Star game in Kansas City. I was glued in. I was like, oh, this is going to be so exciting. Yeah, and it was. But man, I feel for the Angels.
So all that stuff I said about baseball's boring and all this crap, we also just gave a huge endorsement for the MLB by talking about Shohei and Mike Trout. Like, that, they're must-see TV. So at least they got that going for them.
Go to a game. If the Angels are in town, go watch Shohei Ohtani. Go watch him.
He's unbelievable. But yeah, speaking of 10 years ago today, the Milwaukee Bucks selected Giannis Antetokounmpo.
We had to throw in the NBA. We had to throw in the MLB or the NBA. Oh, man.
We're both messing that up now. Yeah, had to. Giannis is a legend. And watching that, I watched the draft clip again, and the commissioner, it's the slowest draft pick ever. He's like, with the 15th pick, the Milwaukee Bucks select Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's hilarious. It's so funny, but just one, he pronounced it perfectly. And then 2, Fran Fraschilla was on the broadcast, and he was breaking down Giannis. Everything he said was like perfect. That's kind of crazy. On. It was like spot on. He did say that he wouldn't be able to contribute right away, but the Bucks were terrible. Like, they won 15 games his rookie year, and he did contribute right away. But everything else he said was spot on. Like, he said he's a dark horse. Like, he's got the talent, and he's going to need some bulking up. He's going to need development for sure, but his ceiling is unmatched. And he was right. So props to him. Good job. Not many people knew who he was.
Absolutely. He's the best. Giannis is the best.
Yeah. Yeah, had to bring that up. Got to bring NBA into it. Yeah. Also, by the time everybody's hearing this, free agency will have started. This Friday is when it starts. Hopefully the Bucks can make some moves. They'll probably re-sign Middleton. Hopefully they bring Brooke back. I love Brooke Lopez. Just an incredible human being. So yeah, next episode we'll be able to talk about the NBA free agency, see what kind of crazy stuff goes on there.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm locked in.
It honestly, I can sense a little sarcasm.
Nope, no sarcasm. No sarcasm. I feel like
I,
I don't care, to be honest, what sport it is. Like, I feel like free agency is so cool, and it's like,
it's the
you're
best.
penciling in people of like who fits in best where, and like I feel like you get to kind of pick out the dream team within that, and how fans can play around and
Yeah,
hope something comes to fruition. But
it really,
I think free agency is fun.
yeah, it really is an exciting time to be a fan. Like during the regular season, especially now with load management, like players just aren't playing as much. All they care about is the playoffs, especially when your team's good, like the Bucks. Like nothing matters except the playoffs. And then when you flame out in the first round, like they did this year, it just makes for a crappy season. So
Mm-hmm.
free agency, it's like everybody's 0-0. Everybody's got the same chance to go get somebody. It's cool to try and build your team or add to your team. So yeah, it's definitely one of the funnest times of the year to be a fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the sports update for this week. Next week might be pretty big with free agency, but next, the main segment, the main course, Spider-Verse. So we both saw the movie Across the Spider-Verse. What were
Yep.
your first thoughts?
It was really long.
It
It
was.
was really long. I thought it was a good movie, but I felt like they got so excited on the animations. Like, animations were better than the first one, and I felt like they had so many scenes to add in there that it ended up like the dialogue of the movie ended up going too long, and like um, spoiler warning,
Spoilers.
spoiler warning.
Cut the
Um,
pod here. Come back later if you
yep,
haven't seen it.
yep. Spoiler. The scene closer to the end with Miles kind of running around and everyone's trying to chase after him. I felt like that went longer than it should have, and it just kind of dragged out. But it was really cool, all the scenes that they put together and all the animations and all the different spider people. But it just felt long to me, and I
Yeah.
didn't know it was going to have a cliffhanger ending, so that also made me a little salty.
Yep. You summed it up
What do you
perfectly for
think?
me. You summed it
Yeah.
up perfectly. Like, so going into that first movie, Into the Spider-Verse, I had no expectations, had no idea what
Mm-hmm.
it was even about. And you go into the
Mm-hmm.
theater and you see this animation. It's like they took a comic book and put it on the big screen. It was really
Yeah.
cool. And then also
Yes,
in that first movie, they had Sunflower, Post Malone song that got stuck in
they did.
everybody's head, dude. That
Yep.
movie was really good. It felt like it had some emotion. It was a new story.
Mm-hmm.
It was also an origin story, which I'm a sucker for those with superheroes.
Yep.
Um, but then this movie, Across the Spider-Verse, every single person I talked to, every review I read said, this movie's amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
God, this
Number
is the
one.
great. Like, not only were they saying this is the best Spider Man movie of all time, there were people saying this is the best movie of all time. So I went in
I
with
didn't hear
super,
that, but
yeah,
yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, there's people on Twitter who will say anything, but
Yeah.
yeah, that that was being said. And so I went into
Yeah.
this movie with pretty high expectations,
Yeah.
and seriously, I wanted to walk out the whole time. We were 20 minutes into the movie and it felt like nothing had happened yet. And Julia and I, we were both like squirming in our chairs. We're like, oh my God, when is something going to happen? We were just really bored and contemplated walking out. But we stuck with it. And I kind of wish we didn't. Like, I know I'm in the minority here, but I thought that movie was so boring. All the stuff you did say about the animation though and the
Yeah.
colors, all that is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
They're incredible at all that, but I just thought the story was really lacking. And then
Mm-hmm.
it ends with a cliffhanger, so after all of that you don't even get a conclusion. I was really mad.
Yeah, and then they, at the end of the movie, they put in what the next one's going to be, Beyond the Spider-Verse. And looking online, after it's supposed to come out next spring of 2024. And then I feel like I got some notification a day or two ago that they're going to have to push it back even farther. And who knows when it's going to come out. So I feel like if we're waiting again, because the first one came out in 2018, and I know that they had been working on this film and the one Beyond the Spider-Verse coming out later, like kind of all together as far as the animation parts and whatnot, and that's why it took as long as it did. But I hope we're not waiting, forever for that. But we might be. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think what else played into it for me was that it was another multiverse movie, and it just seems like every single movie, not even just superheroes, like just regular movies, are now multiverse movies. Like, I am so burnt out on that. I'm so done. I feel pretty strongly about this, but yeah,
I know we've talked about it before. I'm for them personally. I'm still keeping together with the multiverse stuff, and I think it's going to end up becoming into something really good and really big. But I know Brennan's tired of it.
They're just so dumb. I can't take it anymore. But yeah. Also, we got a special guest on this episode today.
Yes.
Special guest. Let me go get her and bring her in. She'll give you her thoughts.
Okay,
one moment.
Let's hear it. Hello, special guest.
Hold on, I gotta climb around out of the chair.
No surprise, it's Julia.
Surprise!
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. Good.
I'm excited to be a guest.
Enjoying the absolutely first guest of the Two Bros in a Pod.
Woo!
How about that?
I'm honored.
How's the engagement?
It's wonderful.
Does
Loving
your hand feel heavier?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so heavy with this rock.
Oh, that's awesome. We were just talking about your video and all of the videos that you've got, but the engagement video and how cool that was that got put together, and all of the Brennan takeover behind the scenes cam, and and talking about the big ring in his pocket too, and the arrows pointing at it. That was great.
Yeah, thank you very much. It took a long time getting it just right, but it turned out so great, and I was very happy with it, and all the funny parts and the serious parts and everything. It turned out perfect.
Did you have any idea whatsoever that it was going to happen?
None. Absolutely zero idea that it was going to happen. I laugh about it because I was so oblivious that I usually am. I'm so oblivious to things, but I'm so glad I was oblivious in that moment because it would have ruined it. And I was so happy that I had no idea.
It was so cool. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was beyond
Brennan
perfect.
pulled it off.
He
pulled it off.
He did so well. Best proposal I could have ever imagined. More than I could have imagined. Man. So yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah. I guess I'll keep
that
him.
Was awesome. Yeah, right. Keep him around.
Yeah.
So talking about Spider-Verse.
Okay.
And the new movie that came out.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
It's an unpopular opinion, but I gotta agree with Brennan, even though I didn't hear exactly everything that he said on this podcast episode. Yep. Him and I have talked about it before, and yeah, I'm one of the people that just didn't like it.
Didn't grab you from the start.
It didn't. I mean, like 20 or 30 minutes in, I was still so bored, and I was like, are we gonna get to like the plot of the movie? Like, is something big gonna happen, or am I missing something? Like, it was a really slow beginning, and then it just lost me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Brennan about. I feel like it was a long movie because they had so many really cool animations throughout that they had so
Yeah.
much length in that it was trying to figure out the dialogue that goes into all of it
Yeah,
almost. And
exactly. It just took up too
it,
much.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I felt like they tried to do a lot of things that were really cool with the animations that it was like, oh yeah, we've got a plot still
Yeah,
we
that you
got to
have to
go
stick
by.
to.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I
But
think the only thing that I liked about it or had respect for was the art. That is the only thing that I
mhm,
can say is, I mean, the art was really cool, is incredible, and being someone who loves art and is passionate about that stuff, I know and can understand like and imagine how long it took them to create all of that, and so I give them props for all of that. That was incredible. And it was
yeah.
definitely different. It was out of the box thinking.
Mhm,
But aside from that, it just lost me. It was a little bit boring and just kind of it just dragged a lot. And it didn't have like much of a plot to it. Like it did
mhm.
but didn't. I don't know. So it kind of lost me. And like even the villain of it didn't seem like a villain really to me. I was just kind of like whatever,
Yeah.
which bummed me
Yeah,
out
it
because I had
didn't.
high hopes.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, we touched on a little bit too of like I didn't know it was going to be a cliffhanger ending,
Yeah, like what?
and
It was that long of a movie and then
yeah,
they still have a cliffhanger? Like that was the last
correct.
thing I expected.
I agreed wholeheartedly, and yeah, I'm with you. Like I feel like we're supposed to know a little bit more about the villain, but we
Hmm.
don't, and I feel
Yeah,
like
just kind of
it's
lost.
going to clear up in the next one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was with you on that too. I'm like, what is he? Is
I'm
like
glad I'm not the only one
what's
because
the
I
angle?
was like,
Yeah.
am I horrible for thinking this? Because everyone's saying it's the
Yes.
greatest. And to me, I was like, no, this is the bottom of my list.
Yeah. I thought it was good, but yeah, it could have been better for sure.
Yeah. Now
100%.
the first one I can give a lot of props to. That one I really liked.
Mhm.
Maybe it was because it stuck to like the original kind of storyline, but with its own twist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it still like had meat to it, to the plot, but this one it just lost me compared to the first one. So I don't know,
Mhm.
hopefully maybe the third one has a little bit of a redeeming grace to
Yes.
it, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I agree. I hope so too. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
And then were you guys talking a bit about the live action Spider-Mans and stuff too?
Not yet, but we need to
Not yet.
rank. She needs to rank her Spider-Man.
Do you want me to come back for that
Yes.
No.
or do it right now?
What does Brennan think?
Do it
I
right
don't know.
now. He said do it right now.
Do it now? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're
Just give me your
going
Spider-Man rank.
just the live action Spider-Man's
Yeah.
Spider-Man. So we'll go 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
What's number 3? Or who is
Ooh.
number 3?
It's hard because I feel like 2 and 3 are kind of close or tied, but I'll say 3 is Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies.
Okay.
And these are all
Okay.
close. Like they're real close to each other. It's not like one is most
Yeah.
definitely like really high and far above.
Yep. Yep.
Because they were all well done. But
Yes.
2 is gonna be the first like original Spider-Mans with Andrew Garfield. No, with Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. So
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire 2.
Yes, Tobey Maguire 2 and Andrew
Okay.
Garfield 1. And the
Okay.
only reason I have behind that is with Andrew Garfield's movies. One, I just like Andrew Garfield as an actor, and I really
Yep.
like Emma Stone. So those are a given.
Yes.
But
She played a really good Gwen Stacy.
she did. She did such a good job, and I loved their chemistry. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I was
Mhm.
really sucked into their Spider-Man
Yeah.
movies and
Yeah.
their plot, their relationship.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah, and then with Tobey Maguire, I mean, incredible movies. Yes, I will still give it that. But the only thing is, for a typical Disney girly like me and like all the like, you know, sunshine rainbows type of movies that everyone makes fun of me for, yes, I love all of those. And so like those movies were a little bit too dark for me, at least at the time that I watched them. Now, granted, I haven't seen any of these movies in a long time, so I need to give them a shot again, and maybe my rankings would change. But right now, Tobey Maguire's one. Shoot. Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, yeah.
Yeah. Got it. So Tom Holland 3.
Yep.
Andrew Garfield is number 1. So
yes.
Tobey Maguire 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's it. Final answer for right now.
I gotta we need to touch back and make you sit down and watch all of them and then see if your list changed or not. That'd be neat.
That'd be fun.
We might have to all do that.
That sounds good.
But good to see you, Julia. Thanks for catching up, and glad to hear that that left hand is a little heavy. Or is it the left or the right? I can't remember.
Left. Yeah. Thank you. Me too. Really have to do some workouts for the right arm because left arm is just really. But thank you very much for having me on the show and everything.
Absolutely.
All right. See you later.
See. So my hunch, sidebar, my hunch is that your list is going to be pretty similar to that one.
Yeah. Dude, she tried to take over the podcast there. She's like, you going to keep going? She's like, yeah. And honestly, I probably should have let her. The listeners probably would have enjoyed her more than me.
No, that was good. That was good.
Yeah. But yeah, my Spider-Man list.
Hold on. So
I think it is.
So
different.
we're jumping right into it. We're jumping right into
so
the Spider-Man list, and then we'll go to the movies.
Yeah. So everybody stick around. We're going to rank our top 5 Spider-Man movies. There's 10 of them now. But yeah, first let's rank our Spider-Men.
Yes. So you want me to start it?
Yeah, go for it. Start with number 3.
Number 3. So my 3, and it was tough, but my 3 is Tom Holland. You?
Yep, I agree. Number 3.
I think it was really close for me to put him at 1. It was really close. But I mean, like Julia was saying, everyone was really close, and it really wasn't it's not a set like 1, 2, 3, like definitive. It really can interchange, and everyone would be okay with it. So yeah, but I've locked it in. Tom Holland's 3.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like he's got the worst movies. We'll get to the movies later. It's close. Andrew Garfield's movies are kind of rough too. But yeah, Tom Holland didn't really get the origin story. And like I said earlier, I'm a sucker for those. I think they're all good actors, but I just didn't like Holland's version because it's in the MCU, and all those movies are too based on humor. Like they revolve around humor too much. The latest movie for him, though, finally got some real emotion. And that's what I like. And like what Julia was saying, I like the darker stuff, not like her. So, but yeah, number 2 for you.
My 2 is Andrew Garfield.
Same. We have the same list.
What?
Yep.
I'm surprised. I honestly thought you had Andrew Garfield as 1.
Yeah.
I really thought you were going to have him as 1.
I think it's just the nostalgia of like growing up with Tobey Maguire, and he's just got the best movies in my opinion. Those movies are awesome. Like Green Goblin, Doc Ock, like great villains, just amazing movies that were super dark, emotional. I don't know, something about them. It was very, very, very close though, because I do love Andrew Garfield as an actor. And like Julia was saying, him and Emma Stone together was perfect. Like that's what made those movies good, is their relationship. And yeah, that's why it was tough, but Toby wins it.
Toby. Yeah, I kind of went with my gut as far as just going in chronological order because, like you said, I mean, we grew up on Tobey Maguire. But I do really think Tom Holland's Spider-Man, I do like it. I like the humor of it. I do really like the dark stuff in Tobey Maguire's movies. But I also do like the funny humor that Tom Holland brings to his Spider-Man. And I was thinking about switching Toby to 3 and Tom to 1, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, we would have had to fight if that was the case. No,
I felt like Andrew was locked in at 2. He was locked in for me.
He's the only one that didn't get a third movie to complete the trilogy. I just feel like the villains that he got in his movies weren't that great, and I don't know. It was pretty quick after the first original trilogy when they released that, so maybe that had something to do with it. Little fatigue from Spider-Man.
Yes.
But that's definitely why I'm not as high on Tom Holland's version, is because the fatigue. Like, this is the third Spider-Man already. And then all the MCU movies had happened before that, pretty much. Like, Tom Holland came in towards the tail end of like that main Avengers phase. But so maybe that's why the humor wasn't as funny to me anymore. But yeah. Interesting that we had the same ranking, though.
I was surprised. I thought you would have. I know you really liked Andrew Garfield and still do. So I was surprised. I thought you would have Andrew at 1.
Yeah, it is very, very close. But
yeah, it is.
The OG movies won out.
Yep, sure does.
So yeah, with that being said, let's jump right into
movies?
The top 5 movies. And this is including the Spider-Verse movies, and then the 3 Tobey Maguire movies, the 2 Andrew Garfield movies, and the 3 current Tom Holland movies. So I'll let you lead the way.
I'll start by saying I'm disappointed that I wasn't able to fit this in my top 5. I'm not a cheater. Okay? I did 5 movies, but I'm going to say what movie I'm very disappointed I could not fit into the top 5 list. And that movie is Spider-Man Homecoming. Okay. I'm very disappointed. I really liked that movie a lot. I'm a huge fan of Michael Keaton, and I felt like the Vulture in that was really good and a really cool twist on that with his daughter and all of that in the movie. I thought it was a really good first movie for Tom Holland.
Yeah. And so for those of you that haven't watched episode 1 of this podcast, go check it out. We ranked our top 5 Ted Lasso characters, and Wyatt put 7 in his list. So he cheated just a little bit on that. But
I did.
I'm glad you
I didn't cheat.
I'm glad you only have 6 on this top 5 list, though.
We're cutting it down. Yeah, I'm just very disappointed.
Yeah,
I'm disappointed.
Let's see. For my number 6, Homecoming was not on my top 5. It was towards the bottom.
I knew it wouldn't be.
Yeah,
I knew it wouldn't be.
My number 6 was Amazing Spider-Man 2. So the second Andrew Garfield movie. And it was a tough one to leave off because of that ending. It really hits you. And it's visually visually stunning. Like just watching it, his suit is so cool and the shots in the movie are so cool. So it was really hard to leave that one off.
I have it in my list. I have it in my top 5.
It's higher though.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. I think with all these movies, like the villain makes the movie go. So
Yep.
if you've got a really good villain, like Jamie Foxx did pretty well with
Electro.
his in that movie. Yeah. And so I feel like when you have a good villain like that, it makes for a really good movie. So
Yeah.
that's why I got it a little higher.
Okay. So let's see. Let's start off with your number 5.
My 5 is the OG Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man
Doc
2.
Ock.
Okay. That is higher on my list. So let's wait to discuss.
Okay. So
Mine,
you're 5?
Yep. My number 5. People are probably going to think I'm insane. For some reason, this movie is pretty. I don't know why, but people really hate it. Spider-Man 3. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3. The black suit.
No.
Symbiote Venom.
No.
Spider-Man 3. And I know it's an unpopular opinion. Something about it. One, it's the movie that for some reason I've seen the most. Like, I don't know why, but it's just always on TV. And growing up, I had seen it a ton of times. But yeah, I'm assuming not on your list.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah,
We're talking. You added that one and didn't add Homecoming? Like, are you kidding me?
Dude, I'm telling you, I hate the Tom Holland movies. I just don't like the new ones.
Sandman was good.
Yep. And
Venom was terrible.
Venom was terrible, but he looks so cool. Like, the new Venom movies, do you like those?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Those are good. If he was just in the Spider-Man 3, I think it would have been a lot better. But
yes.
Yeah, for some reason I just really like that movie. Not like really
and
like
you got
it, but it's in my top 5.
Like the meme. The meme of him dancing is that movie. Like,
yeah, that's
so bad.
That's number 2 on the reasons I like it. It's funny. No, I'm just kidding. That goes against everything I just said about the Tom Holland movies. But
Yeah.
no, I like the black suit. The black suit Spider-Man was just really cool. And I think when the movie came out, for some reason, that's what made me gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
And you get to see this different side of Peter Parker when the symbiote takes over. And then preparing for this, I watched like recaps because I couldn't remember all the movies. So I watched some recaps, and at the end of that movie, Harry Osborn, he sacrifices himself to protect Toby, Peter Parker, at the end, and he gets impaled by his own glider, just like his dad. They brought it full circle. That's just a really cool moment, and I think that's what solidified it being in my top 5.
No, that's fair. And I like when that movie came out, it was really hyped up. Like 1 and 2 were no joke, and then like the posters of Peter in the black suit, like it was really slick, really cool how they did hype the movie with that black suit that we hadn't seen before with the other Spider-Man movies, but
yeah,
at the time. So it was hyped up really good, and I think it was a good movie, but it's not top 5.
Yeah. And oh man, I had like the Rotten Tomatoes rankings up.
Ooh, I didn't even
that
think
one is
about
like
that.
really low. So I gotta pull that up again quick. 1 second. It is not the worst ranked Spider-Man movie. It's the second worst. It had 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. The only one that was worse was actually The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Andrew Garfield's second movie. Homecoming was number 5, 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's right. Facts.
Wow.
This is good.
All right, so
it was good.
That's my number 5. Number 4, you can lead us off.
So my number 4 was The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I had that as my 4. But yeah, like I said with Jamie Foxx, I felt like I felt like he was a good villain. It wasn't the best out of all of them, but I thought he did well, and the ending of it was big for me. It was really uh, I don't know if dark is the best word, but it was a tough ending, and so I thought that um, I thought that made it with that being in the top five. So
Yeah. I mean, maybe if I redid this list, it would slide in instead of Spider-Man 3, but I had it just outside number 6. But yeah,
yeah,
the ending, obviously, it's been out for a long time, so I don't feel like we need to give a spoiler warning. But Gwen Stacy, um, she is falling to her death, and Peter webs her. I don't know how else to say it. He catches
yeah,
her right at the end, but then her whiplash, she like smacks her head on the ground and dies. It's like
yeah. It's
super.
tough.
Oh, it's so tough to watch. And their
Mm-hmm.
relationship was like the heartbeat of those movies. So
Yes.
talk about emotional. Yeah, that was one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I thought it was good. It could have been probably better, overall. I know Jamie Foxx's uh, beginning of his character kind of sucked, but when he became Electro, it was pretty cool. So
Yeah,
it was good.
I agree. My number 4
Number four.
was The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. Is it on your list?
Okay. No. Nope.
Okay.
Didn't.
So, one, I'm a sucker for an origin story. We already know that. You get to see Andrew Garfield's version, and a lot of the things that I said about the second movie, like his suit is awesome, visually stunning, and then his relationship with Emma Stone. That's the main
Mm-hmm.
reason. I think the only reason it's above the second one for me is because it's the origin story, and you can see how he gets his powers and all that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my number 4.
Yeah. And for me, again with the villain, like the lizard was not good. He was not
Yeah,
good.
it was definitely subpar.
But I get the origin story for sure. I get it.
Yeah. All right. So number 3, go ahead.
Number three for me was Into the Spider Verse.
Ooh, not on my list. It was
Not on your
close.
list.
So,
Yep.
like I said, number 6 was Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
7 was Into the Spider-Verse, but those two were pretty interchangeable. I thought long and hard about adding Into the Spider-Verse
Mm-hmm.
because I did like it a lot, despite
Yep.
everything I said about the second one. The first Spider-Verse movie was pretty cool. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not on my list. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I thought it was really good. Like what you were saying with not really knowing much about it, walking into it, and not expecting much from it. Uh, I thought it was overall a really cool movie, and I mean, the first animated movie like that with bringing to life a comic book. It was really cool how they did that. I feel like the way we've touched on it already has been, it's a really cool origin story. It's really different than all of the others, and they kind of tie a little bit more of that into the second movie. So, um, and I'm all about Spider Gwen. I'm all about Spider Gwen, and we'll probably talk more about Spider Gwen and Haley Steinfeld in other episodes. But um, so I don't want to go. I don't want to go too far in detail with Haley
Yeah.
Steinfeld just yet. But
Yeah, just so
but no,
everyone
I thought it
knows.
was good.
Yeah, just so everyone knows why it's celebrity crush, Haley Steinfeld.
Yep, yeah, she's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All
I
right.
can't. Yeah, she's great. She's
Yeah.
great.
So my number 3 is Spider-Man 2, and you said you had that 5th, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so Spider-Man 2, um Doc Ock, super cool villain. For me, one of the things that I remember the most is that iconic subway scene where Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker is trying to stop the train, and you see him arms stretched out. Just you can see the veins popping through his suit's ripping, and he's stopping that train. Oh god, super cool. And then afterwards, because he exerted himself so much, he starts to faint and fall off, and a passenger grabs him, pulls him in. They also get to see who he is because his mask is off, and the whole thing is the little kid gives him his mask, and they're gonna keep his secret. So yeah, definitely my favorite part of that movie. I'll let you go before I keep going, but I have a little bit more.
No, I mean, I forgot that was in that second movie, but I thought that was a really cool scene of them being like, yeah, we'll keep your secret. You know, they didn't say that, but you know, they acknowledged that. I feel like that's like, especially talking about all the Marvel movies, and you know, everyone kind of knows like who everyone is, and or like knowing who's behind the mask, and the way that they've done it, you know, it kind of gets a bit too much now. And so the way that they did that in the original Spider-Man movie, in that second one, I felt like was really cool and really stood out, of like how they show who he is, but everyone's keeping it to themselves.
And at that time, he was like the villain, you know, everybody. Jameson is always talking about how Spider-Man's the worst and he's a villain. Want to see who he is, reveal himself, all that stuff. So that was a cool moment. But then, underrated thing that I really like about all the Tobey Maguire movies is it shows real struggles, like real struggles that normal people go through. Like, he's broke. He's a pizza delivery driver, and he lives in like the worst, most horrible apartment ever. And he's constantly trying to get away from his landlord because he hasn't paid his bills. And then also he's just like dealing with guilt of the first movie. Harry thinks that Spider-Man killed his dad, and that's not the case. And you know, Harry's supposed to be Peter's best friend. So I don't know, all those things just made me love that movie.
And yeah, I mean, Doc Ock was so cool, and especially how that movie ended, and he flipped and understood, you know, what was going on at the end, and being the hero. I thought that was so cool.
And dude, those tentacles are real. Like, they weren't CGI'd. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Another thing I love about the original movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they did good. They did good.
All right.
So we're on 2. My 2 is the OG Spider-Man.
Ooh, okay. It is
number 1.
It is higher on my list, yeah. So obviously it just gave away my number 1, but that's all right. My number 2 then is Spider-Man No Way Home.
Well, that gave away my list.
Yep. That's kind of what I figured once you said that. So we just swapped our one and two.
We
swapped our number 1 and 2. Snip, snap, snip, snap. So yeah.
If you know Brennan and I, we are always quoting movies all the time in any conversation we're in. So whatever movie, TV show we end up coming up with a line for, we'll make it fit.
Yep, definitely. And let me tell you, this is how I feel I've been today.
Freaking idiot.
Yeah, had to work that one in there.
All right,
but yeah, which one you want to talk about first then?
Well, let's talk about No Way Home. Let's talk about that one first. Okay. You go ahead, because that's your second.
Yep. This is the one Tom Holland movie that I obviously really liked. And the reason I liked it so much was because there were real stakes, real emotion, some real stuff happens to him. It's not this happy-go-lucky movie where, oh my god, I'm on this spaceship and I'm in outer space. Like, come on. Yeah, that was a shot, sorry. But this one got real stuff that happens, and it brings back all the OG Spider-Men. Like, there were so many rumors, this was rumored for a long time. Hey, I think they're all going to be in this movie. And then when they show up, it pays off. And then you get to see the OG villains too. Just really cool. Trip down memory lane for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's probably if No Way Home didn't come out, I wouldn't have thought of Tom Holland as a number one. I think the way that they had his character kind of find a dark spot, but then Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire showing him like, hey, you gotta. I know this stuff sucks and it happens, but you gotta see the light. And I mean, that was just such a emotional part of the movie. I may have had some water in my eyes at that point in the movie. And just the way they brought them all together and how they did that, and having Andrew Garfield be the first one to come in and how he came in was so funny. And I felt they did a really good job of keeping it light, but also showing how dark it can get in Spider-Man movies. So I really thought, all in all, was a really, really good movie. And not to mention all of the villains that come back, and how insane Green Goblin is, and how he just flips on a dime and is just a weasel for everyone. And oh man, just the way that they did that movie, it had to be my number one just because of how big they made it. And I mean, it surpassed anything that I expected or anticipated.
It was huge, and the reason I had to put the original Spider-Man first is because it's the original. But No Way Home, the way they bring everyone together, it was so cool. And I'm a huge movie theater experience person, so like nothing will probably top in Avengers Endgame when everybody's coming in, or was that Infinity War, one of the two. But like the whole theater just erupts, everybody's cheering. Same thing happened in this movie when each of the old Spider-Man show up. Peter Garfield shows up. I knew right away it was him, and then immediately everybody starts cheering. Same thing when Toby gets in. And then you get to see like the weirdness of all three of them. Like they each have their weird, quirky characteristics. Yeah, really cool movie. If Tom Holland's version didn't have that one, let's just say he's lucky that they got that movie.
Ah, man. Oh man.
Don't let me sway you, but yeah, that's just how I feel.
Yeah. So the OG Spider-Man, I mean, I had to think about it at one for sure because it's the OG, but I just felt like No Way Home was just huge. It was just a huge movie. But I mean, the first time you see Spider-Man in live action and Green Goblin to hit it off, I mean, it was insane. And the origin story was really cool. And the only Spider-Man that can shoot webs out of his arm and aren't made webs, that was pretty cool.
Yep. I was gonna ask you this. Are you an organic webs person, or are you like a they make their webs person? Because I am all organic. Like it just makes sense.
Me too.
Man. Okay,
yes,
good.
Me too.
It's like
especially go ahead.
They get bitten by a spider. They get the spidey senses and all this other stuff. They can walk up walls, but they can't shoot webs. What? They have to make their own webs? What? That's the main thing a spider does. They have webs. Like,
agreed.
Yeah. I know. I think it's not like that in the comics. Like I think they make their own web shooters, but I'm not sure on that. But yeah, I love the organic webs. Just makes more sense.
Yes.
And another origin story. You get to see him figure out how to use all of his powers. The scene where he's jumping across buildings and then he swings into a billboard. Just love it all. It's hilarious.
I love when he's trying to use his webs for the first time and he's like, go, go,
go webs,
go,
fly. Oh yeah,
that was great.
So funny. And then yeah, like you said, Green Goblin is phenomenal. Like Willem Dafoe does an incredible job. Like what Julia was saying, he's like scary in that movie. And that's one thing I really like about all of those original Spider-Man movies. Sam Raimi, he made really dark movies. Really emotional, really dark. And that's what I loved most about it. So yeah, that's why it's number
mirror
one.
Scenes. Oh man, the mirror scenes just get me every time. Like it's just insane how cool they have that scene cut out, and how he's
flipping on a dime and talking to himself in the mirror is
so cool.
Cool. He's at war with himself. And then you get to see that in No Way Home. Yeah, cool. I'm glad they brought it back. Definitely a good top 2 there. Those top 2 are like far above the rest of them for me, at least.
Yes, I agree with you there. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. Anything else we want to touch on?
I mean, going back to this movie that's out now. I can't even remember the name of the movie.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Some.
Yeah, that's it. Overall, like Brennan touched on with the movies, and like we're not steering you out of not going to this movie, because we're always about going to the movies to see any movie. And I feel like it was really a lot more of Spider-Gwen's movie, like Gwen Stacy's movie, and kind of showing her background of things too, which I really liked. And I really like Spider-Gwen, so I thought it was good.
Of course. Yeah, no, I was gonna say I might not go see the third one. I'm not sure, but I probably will end up seeing it just because I love going to movies, and it's supposed to be the end, right? Like they're gonna have a conclusion. If they don't, then I'm not going.
I think so. Because then eventually, I believe they're going to be in live action movies. So
yeah, and that's also why we didn't include them in our top Spider-Men, because it's not live action; it's an animated version. And in that movie, apparently, there's 5,000 different Spider-Men, and there's 195 billion different Earths, and yeah,
that there is.
Yeah. But that's all right. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. So my top 5 was Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man No Way Home.
And my top 5 was Spider-Man 3 at number 5, The Amazing Spider-Man at number 4, Spider-Man 2 at number 3, and then Spider-Man No Way Home at number 2, and then Spider-Man, the original, at number 1.
Heck yeah.
Rank our Spider-Man. We both had the same ranking. Number 3, Tom
ranking.
Holland. Number
2, Andrew Garfield.
And number 1, Toby. Bang, bang.
That's a wrap.
That's the answer sheet for you.
That's the key. That's the key.
If that's not your list, then never mind. If you don't chew Big Red, then you.
I can't believe we didn't even make it. We didn't even make it a full 2 episodes before swearing. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah, well, we can edit it. We'll see.
We can edit it.
All right, but yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
That'll do it for second episode. Hope you enjoyed listening. Make sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. If you want to see us in video version, make sure to subscribe to that YouTube channel. Leave us some comments, leave us some likes, share it. It's the best way you can help us. But yeah, we enjoyed it. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next one. See you, Wyatt.
See ya.
Take it easy, Mountain Faith.